Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is the Universal1 getting back at you guys. And what we're going to be working on today is another reading of the Law 1, the raw materials. We're going to be going to Book 1, Session 2. Okay, but before we get started with that, let me say thank you for pushing that play button and deciding to spend a little time with me here. If this is your first time, visiting the channel and you like the reading or you like what's going on in the channel, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification bell because it will let you know every time I post a video. All right, y'all. I hope everyone's doing well and I hope everyone's ready to get into this reading. Remember, this is Book 1, Session 2, January 20th, 1981. Ra, I am Ra. I greet you in the love and the light of our infinite Creator. I am with this mind-body-spirit complex which has offered itself for a channel. I communicate with you. So he greets us, Ra greets us, and he's letting us know that he's got a connection with the channeler, alright? With Carla. And he's ready to communicate with us. He says, queries are in order in your projections of mind distortion at this time, space. So, queries are in order. I guess he's ready for questions. Thusly, would I assure this group that my own social memory complex has one particular method of communicating with those few who may be able to harmonize their distortions with ours, and that is to respond to queries for information. We are comfortable with this format. May the queries now begin. So, really quick, what he's saying is that, they're ready to communicate with us, but in order to communicate with us is, they're ready to teach. The only information they have is answers. So we ask the questions and we'll get the information. So that's pretty much what he's telling us. They're not gonna sit there and run at the mouth. They rather just wait for us to ask questions and they'll give us the answers, and that's how we'll get out whatever information we're looking for. All right, yeah. So questioner Don, I'm guessing that there are enough people who would understand what you are saying, who would be interested enough in it for us to make a book of your communications, and I wondered if you would agree to this. If so, I was thinking that possibly a bit of historical background of yourself might be in order. Ra, I am Ra. The possibility of communication, as you would call it, from the one to the one through distortion is acceptable for meaning, is the reason we contacted this group. There are few who will grasp without significant distortion that which we communicate through this connection with this mind-body-spirit complex. However, if it be your desire to share our communication with others, we have the distortion towards a perception that this would be most helpful in regularizing and crystallizing your own patterns of vibration upon the levels of experience which you call the life. If one is illuminated, are not all illuminated? I guess what he's saying is if we don't give you the knowledge, if you get the knowledge, is not everyone. You see, this is the way they think. Like, everyone is connected. I get that right there. I like that. Therefore, we are oriented towards speaking for you in whatever supply of speakingness you may desire. To teach, learn is the law of one, in one of its most elementary distortions. So to teach, learn, that's one of the most elementary distortions for them. I guess, like that's what they do. Teach, learn. Questioner, could you tell us something of your historical background and your contact with earlier races on this planet? Then we would have something to start with. So now we're gonna get some background. Ra, I am Ra. We are aware that your mind-body is calculating the proper method of performing the task of creating a teach-learning instrument. We are aware that you find our incarnate, as you call it, state of interest. We waited for a second query so as to emphasize that the time-space of several thousand of your years creates a spurious type of interest. Thus, in giving this information, we ask that the proper lack of stress be placed upon our experiences in your local space-time. The teach learning, which is our responsibility, is philosophical rather than historical. We shall proceed with your request, which is harmless if properly evaluated. We are those of the Confederation who 11,000 of your years ago came to two of your planetary cultures which were at that time closely in touch with the creation of the one creator. It was our naive belief that we could teach learn by direct contact and that the free will distortions of individual feeling of personality were in no danger. So according to Ra, they were actually here physically. Man, I wonder what that would have been like, huh? We had no thought of their being disturbed, as these cultures were already closely aligned with an all-embracing belief in the liveness or consciousness of all. We came and were welcomed by the people whom we wished to serve. We attempted to aid them in technical ways having to do with the healing of mind-body-spirit complex distortions through the use of crystal, appropriate to the distortion placed within a certain appropriate series of ratios of time-space material. Thus were the pyramids created. Oh, okay. So now we're talking about the pyramids, y'all. We found that the technology was reserved largely for those with the effectual mind-body distortion of power. This was not intended by the law of one. We left your peoples, the group that was to work with those in the area of South America, as you called that portion of your sphere, gave up not so easily. They returned. We did not. However, we have never left your vibration due to our responsibility for the changes in consciousness we had first caused and then found distorted in ways not regulated to the law of one. We attempted to contact the rulers of the land to which we had come, that land which you call Egypt, or in some areas, the Holy Land. In the 18th dynasty, as it is known in your records of space-time distortions, we were able to contact the pharaoh, as you would call him. The man was small in life experience on your plane and was what this instrument would call wanderer. Thus, this mind-body-spirit complex received our communication distortions and was able to blend his distortions with our own. This young entity had been given a vibratory complex of sound which vibrated in honor of a prosperous god, as this mind-body complex, which we call instrument for convenience, would call Amun. The entity decided that this name, being in honor of one among many gods, was not acceptable for inclusion in his vibratory sound complex. Thus, he changed his name to one which honored the sun disk. This distortion, called Aten, was a close distortion to our reality as we understand our own nature of mind-body-spirit complex distortion. However, it does not come totally into alignment with the intended teach learning which was sent. This entity, Akhenaten, became convinced that the vibration of one was the true spiritual vibration and thus decreed the law of one. However, this entity's belief was accepted by very few. His priests gave lip service only without the spiritual distortion towards seeking. The peoples continued in their beliefs. When this entity was no longer in this density, again the polarized beliefs in the many gods came into their own and continued so until the one known as Muhammad delivered the peoples into a more intelligible distortion of mind-body-spirit relationships. Do you have a more detailed interest at this time? Well, that's pretty crazy though. Akhenaten. I've heard that name before, but I don't know too much about it. But so it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like Akhenaten was down. He was down with the law of one, and he actually decreed the law of one. But you know, kind of like the way they did Jesus, huh? In the story with Jesus. Crazy. Anyway, questioner. We are very interested in the entire story that you have to tell and getting into the law of one in quite some detail. There will be several questions that I'll ask as we go along that may not be related directly to understanding the law of one. However, I believe that the proper way of presenting this as a teach learning vehicle is to investigate different facets of what you tell us. You spoke of crystal healing. One other thing I want to mention is that when the instrument becomes fatigued, we want to cut off communication and continue questions at a later time when the instrument is recharged. If the instrument is suitable at this time, we would like a little information about the crystal healing that you mentioned. So they're talking again when they talk about the instrument, they're talking about Carla and channeling. You know, the body gets tired and stuff, the mind gets tired, so they gotta make sure that they pull her out in time. Alright, yeah? Ra. I am Ra. The principle of crystal healing is based upon an understanding of the hierarchical nature of the structure of the illusion, which is this physical body, as you would call it. Whoa. The principle of crystal healing is based upon an understanding of the hierarchical nature of the structure of the illusion, which is the physical body, as you would call it. The illusion. There are crystals which work upon the energies coming into the spiritual body. There are crystals which work upon the distortions from spirit to mind. And there are crystals which balance the distortions between the mind and the body. All of these crystal healings are charged through purified channels. Without the relative crystallization of the healer working with the crystal will not be properly charged. The other ingredients is the proper alignment with the energy fields of the planet upon which you dwell, and the holistic or cosmic distortions or streamings which enter the planetary aura in such a manner that an appropriate ratio of shapes and placement within these shapes is of indicated aid in the untangling or balancing process. To go through the various crystals to be used would be exhaustive to this instrument, although you may ask us if you wish in another session. The delicacy, shall we say, of the choosing of the crystal is very critical, and in truth, a crystalline structure such as a diamond or a ruby can be used by a purified channel who is filled with the love light of one in almost any application. This, of course, takes initiation, and there never have been many to preserve to the extent of progressing through the various distortions, leavings, which initiation causes. May we further inform you in any fairly belief way upon this or another subject. Questioner. Yes, you mentioned that the pyramids were an outgrowth of this. Could you expand a little on that? Were you responsible for the building of the pyramid? And what was the purpose of the pyramid? Wow. All right. So we're getting into that now. But before we do, now they were talking about healing, and how we can use different. We can use different crystals. You know what I mean? Different shapes, in different placement. To heal the body naturally. I guess through the different vibrations and energy that it creates. Anyhow, I am Ra. The larger pyramids were built by our ability using the forces of one. The stones are alive. It has not been so understood by the mind, body, spirit distortions of your culture. The purposes of the pyramids were two. So before we even get into the purpose of the pyramids, the stones, he said the stones were alive. The larger pyramids were built by our ability using the forces of one. The forces of one. The forces of one. I'm just going to speculate here and think that the forces of one are their thought, their unity consciousness, those vibrations, and how you can move things that way. And again, I'm just reaching right now, right? Yeah. So let's get into the two purposes of the pyramids. Firstly, to have a properly oriented place of initiation for those who wish to become purified, or initiated channels for the law of one. So that's pretty cool. 2. We wished then to carefully guide the initiates in developing a healing of the people whom they sought to aid, and of the planet itself. Pyramid after pyramid charged by the crystal and initiate were designed to balance the incoming energy of the one creation with the many and multiple distortions of the planetary mind, body, spirit. So you see, the incoming energy Wow. The pyramid. All right. That it was to guide the initiates in developing a healing of the people whom they sought to aid, and of the planet itself. Pyramid after pyramid, charged by the crystal initiate, were designed to balance the incoming energy of the one creation with the many and multiple distortions of the planetary mind, body, spirit. In this effort, we were able to continue work that brothers within the Confederation had effected through building of other crystal bearing structures, and thus complete a ring, if you will, of these about the Earth's, as this instrument would have used vibrated surface. This instrument begins to lose energy. We ask for one more query or subject, and then we shall take our leave for this time space. So Carter's starting to get tired, yeah. Alright. So let's see here. Questioner, you might mention that originally there was a capstone on the pyramid at the top. What was it made of, and how you moved the heavy blocks to build the pyramid? What technique was used for that? Ra. I am Ra. I request that we be asked this question in our next work time, as you would term the distortion sharing that our energies produce. If you have any questions about the proper use of this mind, body, spirit, we would appreciate you asking them now. Okay, questioner. Consider them asked. I don't have anything to go on. What is the proper use of this instrument? What should we do? What should we do to maximize her ability and her comfort? Ra. I am Ra. We are pleased that you have asked this question, for it is not our understanding that we have the right duty to share our perceptions on any subject but philosophy without direct question. So he's already telling us how they're not even trying to mess with our free will. They're not even trying to like plant no seeds. If you ask a question, then. However, this mind, body, spirit is not being correctly used, and therefore is experiencing unnecessary distortions of body in the area of fatigue. Okay, so we're not channeling the right way. This is what I'm getting. The vibration might well be purified by a simple tuning to the circle of one and the verbal vibration. While doing so, the following dialogue. Question, what is the law of one? Answer, the law is one. Question, why are we here? Answer, we seek the law of one. Question, why do we seek Ra? Answer, Ra is a humble messenger of the law of one. Both together. Rejoice then and purify this place in the law of one. Let no thought form enter the circle we have walked about this instrument, for the law is one. Wow. The instrument at this time should be in trance. The proper alignment is the head pointed 20 degrees north by northeast. This is the direction from which the newer or new age distortion of love light, which are less distorted, are emanating, and this instrument will find comfort therein. This is a sensitive instrument, by which we mean the distortions which enter her mind, body, spirit complex come from any of her senses. Thus, it is well to do the following. Place at the entity's head a virgin chalice of water to the center. The book most closely aligned with the instrument's mental distortions, which are aligned most closely with the law of one, that being the Bible that she touches most frequently. To the other side of the Bible, a small amount of scents or incense in a virgin censer. To the rear of the book, symbolizing one, opened to the Gospel of John, chapter 1, a white candle. The instrument would be strengthened by the wearing of a white robe. The instrument shall be covered and prone, the eyes covered. We feel that though this is complex of activity, circumstance, and may seem very distorted from a purposeful teach-learning experience, these elaborations on the technique of trance will ease the mind distortions of those about the instrument as they perceive improvement in the instrument's distortion. With regard to fatigue, we add only that if these teach-learning sessions are held during time-space during which your sun body does not light your room, that is the best to call the instrument before the lighting of the illuminary mechanism. I am Ra. I leave you in the glory and the peace of the one Creator. Rejoice in the love light and go forth in the power of the one Creator. In joy we leave you. Adonai. Alright, y'all. That was pretty cool. That was session 2, and I think that was awesome. I think we got a pretty cool background now of Ra, and I think we're starting to understand what Ra's intentions are, and I get it, and I'm noticing that there's a so that was a ritual. That was a ritual at the end when they say the vibrations may well be purified by a simple tuning to the circle of one and the verbal vibration while doing so of the following dialogue. And you say, what is the law? The law is one. Why are we here? We seek the law of one. Why do we seek Ra? Ra is an humble messenger of the law of one. Both together we rejoice. Rejoice then and purify this place in the law of one. Let no thought form enter the circle we have walked about this instrument, for the law is one. It's kind of like a prayer, son, but I mean, it's a ritual. What's a ritual? Because you're supposed to do this every time you come in. Every time they come into a channel, they're going to be doing this. With everything lined up, a candle, the Bible, all of that's going to be placed where it needs to be. And what's a ritual? Isn't a ritual something we do daily? We do it all the time, right? Like when you get up and you jump in the shower and you wash up and you get ready for work. You have your breakfast and you take your drive to work, and you do what you got to do. What you do every day. We do it every day, right? We have rituals. The ritual, when you say ritual, you think a bad thing, but not necessarily mean it has to be a bad thing. Yeah. We can get into really good habits, we can call them rituals. That's what, some people like to smoke a cigarette every time they drive. That's what I used to do every time I drive. But yeah, so this session was pretty good. We're finding out that they had something to do with help building the pyramids, so I think that's pretty cool. Maybe we'll get some more info on that later on. But I'm looking forward to it. That was session 2, yeah. All right, of book 1, and we're starting to flow now. Hopefully I get another one of these out pretty quick. So look out for that for the next session, section 3. But remember, this was the law of one, the raw material, book 1, session 2. It was January 20th, 1981. All right, y'all. Our next session will be session 3, and that took place January 21st, 1981, and we're gonna get into that. All right, y'all. So I hope y'all like this so far. I mean, again, this is only like my 3rd or 4th video, and it's gonna get better. These will get better, and I'll be able to break them down a little bit better as I start learning a little bit more. But I think this is great practice. Well, we're all learning. Life every day is a new lesson, right? There's a new lesson every day. At least I get a new lesson every day, and I think that's great because isn't that what we're here for? We're here to learn and learn how to be better versions of ourselves, our truer versions, but anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. I've been out here on this long enough. Hope everyone has a great evening. I just want to say that I love you all. Don't forget to extend that hand to those in need, because we never know when it will be us, y'all. Right, y'all? Thank you for visiting the Universal World Network channel, y'all. And please come back, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit that bell if you haven't already, y'all. All right, hope to see y'all soon. I am out of here, yo. This is Universal, and getting back at you guys with another book, another session of the Law 1. All right, y'all. I love you all. Peace.